People always ask about biohacking technologies and toys and things I've done, and it's really hard to put them all in one place to talk about it. I did my best in this conference with the time we have to bring a whole bunch of stuff that lets you directly interact with the systems in your body in ways that probably none of you have heard about. And the thing is, there's a lot more. Enough to do 3 or 4 more conferences without overlapping content. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff, and I'll tell you a little bit about where you can get it. Here's one example. These are in no particular order. The glasses, right? So why in the heck do I wear orange glasses sometimes, not others? Well, blocking blue light spectrum in the evening is a good idea. Amber, which is the color you got in your bags, blocks that relatively well. I would have liked it if yours were a little darker amber tint. They don't block all the blue, but they block enough to help with melatonin. You can get laser safety goggles that look like laser safety goggles that block every bit of blue. You can look at a blue LED and it's invisible because there's no light that comes in through them. But unfortunately, no one's gonna ever wear those on the street except me. So I got you guys ones that look cool. But these ones are a different color. This is a custom tint for my eyes. I went through a battery of tests from the Irlen Institute, IRLEN, and found out that this color causes the most relaxation of my eyes. When I wear this color, I perform better all day long in a wider variety of environments. It turns out if I take these off and I stand here for long enough without talking, because talking keeps me out of an alpha state with my eyes open, this bright light right here shining in this eye, after about 10 minutes, will cause a full brain eyes open alpha burst. And if I don't immediately speak, or maybe go eat something, probably something with caffeine and sugar, my whole brain goes into a 15-minute eyes open alpha thing, and I zone out to the point I drool on myself and I have no idea what you said, and you can't tell I'm doing it. You think I'm awake, and I'm not. There's a reason I always talk in meetings, by the way. However, I perform so much better with these on that I wear them even though it makes me look like a dork. The other thing this does, if you ever go do public speaking, wear something weird, because I've given keynote presentations. I do that for a living in my tech job. And I go off stage and I go to get a cup of coffee, and the guy next to me says, "Did you see that presentation? It was pretty good." I'm like, "Yeah, I gave it, but I look like a penguin." It's all, dark suits. We all look the same. If you look a little bit different, you get 10 times more business cards. There's something to be said for that. So anyway, that's the full story behind the glasses. My visual processing is different because of stuff that happened to me in the womb and around early visual cortex formation. Next up, and by the way, this is going to be on the website. It's actually just on the website now. There's a special on these, so I'm going to tell you about what this is. We just added it. Question back there. So IRLEN, just Google it, Irlen Institute. There's something called scoptic sensitivity. Some people, their color's purple or green or yellow. And a lot of kids with dyslexia and ADD, you put these glasses on them, they don't have dyslexia anymore. You put a piece of colored paper, like colored transparent paper, over what they're reading, they can read. So this is about the way the eyes match, the way they team, and about unique things in each person. So I don't actually need to wear these glasses right now, but I'm just wearing them to show them off. Another thing, it's called the Power Lung. If you go to upgradedself.com/powerlung, all lowercase, all one word. What? Oh, sorry. /breathing, not /powerlung. You can actually, I don't even know how much they cost, but we're putting them on the 10% code for the rest of the conference. This is a way to do weightlifting with your lungs. So, now I have run electrical current across my sternum while doing this. Sorry, you didn't hear that. I have run electrical current across my sternum while doing this. You can train your lungs to do that. Professional singers, professional spokespeople do this, triathletes, people want to perform better. You're actually training the muscles in your lungs to get stronger, and more importantly, to have more control over the muscles in your lungs. This is important because breathing is fundamental to getting oxygen into your brain and the rest of your body. So having more strength, the ability to pull air in when you really need it and to exhale it when you need to, makes you stronger. It even makes you stronger at hitting other people. So you can read more info. It's a quick page we just put up. We're just in the process of getting our resale agreement with the company that makes these. This is a really neat, really simple, very affordable biohacking technology. So, how am I doing on time? 10 more minutes left? Good God. I'll go faster. World's simplest and actually quite effective $20 biofeedback device. I don't have these on the site yet, I will. This is a digital thermometer. And all you do is you take this little sensor here and you put it on your finger. You can tape it there is better. And then you think about making the numbers change. And you'd be surprised how fast you can learn to change the temperature of your fingers consciously. Now, there's another way to do this without a thermometer. There's a monk who did this. For 20 years, he started his hand really often and made that little red spot get bigger, and he could raise the temperature of his hand. That kind of biofeedback sucks compared to this kind of biofeedback, which is why technology is making things really cool. And that's why we can do stuff we just heard about, like with BioCybernaut, because the technology, the signal processing, the signal acquisition is better than it's ever been, and it's helping our brains. This causes profound relaxation. If you're stressed, this helps. It doesn't help as much as heart rate variability training, but it's simple, it's easy, and you can teach it to your kids. This is called a digital thermometer. You just need one that goes in 0.1 degree increments. An accurate digital thermometer might work. It was 20 bucks. I bought it off eBay. It's not that hard to do. Let's see here. We've talked about some different neurofeedback techniques and different price points. This is an open source EEG machine. It costs 150 bucks. I don't actually use it at home because I have better ones. I've had my own since 1998 and use them on occasion. This is made by Olamex, but if you have $150, the software is free. You have to order it from Germany. And the electrodes are actually active, which is added $50 to that $150 price, like so it was a total of $150, which means there's a little amplifier on each electrode. You usually spend $1,200 on active electrodes for other EEGs. The problem is that the feedback time on this takes a couple seconds. You really want to get under 350 milliseconds. Every technology for feedback I've talked about, what drives this is the ability for your nervous system, which is way faster than your conscious brain. It needs the signal fast. So this is neat, and you can control games with it, and you can probably get some progress out of this, but it's nothing like what you do with an 8-channel custom design setup like Dr. Hart uses, or you could get from a more advanced machine. But this is entry-level EEG. You know, if you're a kid and it's all you can afford right now, and you want to get more awareness, you can get this using open source stuff. You could buy at Radio Shack, solder together yourself with open source software. We've reached that point. The difficult thing, though, might be what protocols do you train? Do you just feed a signal back to yourself? Do you want it to go up? Do you want it to go down? And there is danger there because you might turn off something that you actually want to leave on. There's the Bulletproof upgraded focus trainer, which Jonathan Tumim has been demoing. I've been traveling around with one of these in my Super NES controller case for quite a while. I've done this on airplanes. And you stick the blue headband on your head, and you plug it into your laptop, and you bring more blood to the front of your brain, which lets you pay attention better. If you're paying attention to something, it doesn't really matter what you're paying attention to. But if you want to pay attention to what's going on inside your body or inside your mind, being able to pay attention in the first place is a core skill. So even if you're doing a meditative practice or you're doing neurofeedback or some other sort of personal growth, the ability to pay attention for long periods of time is critical. This device helps you do that. So I'm actually a really big fan of that. We also have, time check, Gail? That's fine. All right.
David, could you repeat the name of that product you just showed us?
This one, it's on the Upgraded Self site. It's the Bulletproof upgraded Focus Brain Trainer. And its official name is Peanut NIRHEG. But that was kind of a mouthful. So Jonathan, I don't know if you're sitting back there. If so, people are going to find my search engine queries before yours, but it all goes back to you, man. You invented this thing. It's your baby. Thanks for making it, and thanks for giving me a prototype a long time ago. And by the way, the reason this one is so cool, and the reason that I'm a fan of it, is because the feedback cycles are so fast. The old way of doing it, the feedback cycles were too long, and I didn't really get a great impression from it the first time, not from this one, but from previous ones. Let's go back to vision for a minute. I can't tell you the name of this thing because the guys who make it don't make it anymore. It's kind of hard to show with great clarity. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera pointing at it. These glasses have LEDs in circles around the eyes, and they look super dorky. I mean, let me show you. Like, it doesn't get any dorkier than this. But it turns out that what happens in each quadrant of your eye affects brain activation. So by flashing these LEDs in different parts of your visual spectrum, you can actually turn on parts of the brain that maybe aren't as turned on as they could be. So you can be reading or writing, working on writer's block or whatever else, but you can actually be, as you're doing it, using the environment around you, the lighting, to influence parts of your brain so they become more active. And on top of that, now we'll get real hippie here, there's a selection of lens colors: orange, blue, gray, yellow, pink, and purple. The color of the lighting around you affects your mood. This is well established. Yet we put crappy compact fluorescent lights with completely broken spectrums in our schools, which affects kids' moods. It turns out you can really change how you feel in about 20 minutes by changing the color of your lenses. The problem is I don't usually do that because A, changing the lenses is a pain, and B, you look like a total dork wearing pink glasses. But it works. So if you're dealing with a mood issue, you can use this to help you change your focus, change the way you see things, because the eyes do see. All right. Another technology. I was a little concerned when I started talking about earthing, which I know damn well works because I can feel it work and because I can measure it in my sleep scores and because it keeps me from getting jet lag when I fly around like 150 days of the year. The other technology that works with my coaching clients is called the green wave filter. I have this on the website. It's a small filter. You plug a few of them in the room, especially the one where you sleep, and they attenuate random fluctuations in the power lines inside your house. And the regular reports I get from people are, I used to wake up once or twice a night, usually at the same time. I plugged these in and I stopped doing it and I just kept not doing it. So there are people out there who are sensitive and they wake up to EMF, they wake up because of EMF fluctuations. This is a simple thing. You plug it in once, you forget it's there. It has its separate power outlet on the bottom so you don't even lose a spot. It just looks ugly on the wall. Sorry. The guy who invented it is a very senior partner at one of the largest venture capital recruiting companies in the Bay Area, who is himself extremely sensitive. And so he built these for his own use and put them on the market to help other people. So that's something that I use. I have it in my kids' bedrooms, it's in my office, it's in my bedroom, and it's a one-time, relatively simple thing. Let's talk rapid healing. A while back, I got whiplash. I was hit from behind by a BMW 750i while the guy was changing his radio. They had really bad controls back then on the radios. And I got whiplash, didn't know what it felt like, completely wrecked me. It took a year of chiropractic to fix. 2 years later, I was hit at 35 miles an hour in a go-kart by a drunk guy. And I got really bad whiplash. But a friend of mine, a naturopath, had one of these lasers. He fixed my much more severe whiplash in 6 days of 3 minutes a day. What this is a non-focused laser. It was actually designed by the guy who invented laser dentistry to relax the nervous system. When you shine certain laser frequencies onto nerves, they actually get less inflamed directly. So the most common use here is you put it on your jaw, right here, to turn down the inflammation in your nervous system where your trigeminal nerve runs right here. It even affects brain inflammation. It's licensed by the FDA for use in treating arthritis because it treats generalized inflammation. It catalyzes the synthesis of ATP, the recycling of it, making it 75% more efficient, raises nitric oxide levels locally so you get more blood and oxygen in and more waste out of cells. And if you see those NFL guys who are playing 2 weeks after surgery, this is one of the techniques they use on those guys, on special forces guys, on race horses, stuff like that. So we had someone who wanted to do this on his jaw, right? Hold it there for 3 minutes. It will not blind you. The laser's defocused. You can look right at it. In fact, it has effects on macular degeneration if you just close your eye and put it over your eye. So it's very safe. The one you wouldn't look at is the attachment here, which is around here somewhere. There it is. That's a 5 milliwatt laser. The pulse rate, the rate at which it flashes, has a profound impact on how it feels. You can also turn off nausea and headaches very quickly. I use that on my kids long before I give them drugs. Now, this is the 500 milliwatt, reaches deep inside your hips, turns down inflammation. You can use it on scarring, and it's powered by that same thing. It's also defocused, but you're not supposed to point it at your eyes because you can't see it. It's infrared. But this is a major part of how I heal things. I have a screw in my right knee. I had arthritis in both knees at 14. I was obese for half my life. I've had chronic pain. I've had fibromyalgia. I've had Lyme disease. I've been exposed to toxic mold. I did not have a healthy physical body start in life, and things like this laser do amazing things for you. There is, of course, a HardMath Institute. M-Wave. I don't actually travel with an M-Wave unless I'm going to talk about it. In fact, the battery's dead. The reason is that once you learn this, you build the synapses in your brain. The laser, this one's called a Q1000. There's a variety of them out there now. This one costs about $5,000 for both pieces. And they have a new model that came out. It's often used by some chiropractors. In fact, is there anyone in here who uses infrared laser or cold laser in their practice? Nope. Okay. I thought there might be one or two people. I've seen a couple of chiropractors, a couple of acupuncturist people use them. You've had your chiros use it on you. So here's the question. Okay, if it's $5,000 and they sell it to chiros and weirdos like me, what if like we mass produce these and instead of buying a bottle of Tylenol, which by the way is totally poisonous for your liver, you just use this as a first line of treatment? Wouldn't that be a better deal and probably healthier for us? As a matter of fact, it would. So this is one of those technologies that should be out there that's not. And the fact that the rate the lasers blink has a really big effect on what system in the body it works on should raise a red flag for every single biohacker in this room. Either the people who make it are nuts. In fact, the guy who makes it is definitely a little bit nuts. I've met him. His name's Larry Lytle. He has the best teeth I've ever seen. He is, of course, the dentist. However, it's really true that the pulse rate of these lights affects your consciousness. It affects the systems in your body. And we know that light enters your vagus nerve through your ear. We know that you can shine lights into your brain, things like that. 3 minutes, cool. I didn't bring my infrared LED brain stimulator. In fact, that's a dangerous technology. The guy who invented it is now a physician. I won't say his name because he erased every bit of info about it from the internet in 2003. This is a device that shines a super bright, specific wavelength LED through your skull, and it directly stimulates neural tissue. Now, this guy used it on the back of his brain, right here, on one of his mood-regulating sort of happy centers, and he had such profound improvements in cognitive function and happiness and awareness that he said, screw this noise, I'm not going to have my Yahoo group about this anymore, I'm going to med school. Transformed his life in 6 months, went from basically like dysfunctional to I'm kicking ass and taking names. So I have one of these things, and I've definitely used it, and it's scary powerful. You leave it in place for too long, you can cook your brain. You do it for under 2 minutes on a site, you can have profound improvements on that part of the brain. This isn't that well tested, but we do, if you Google for infrared brain stimulation, you can do it. Quick story, bad thing I did once. I put it over the language processing center in your brain, about right here, because I suck at hearing French and Swedish, and my wife speaks both. To me, they sound like blah, 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 blah. I have an auditory processing disorder. I have no idea. Like, she can say something to me, and I say it back, it's a different thing. It's been a constant, like, annoyance for me. So, for an hour after I did this, for just 30 seconds, when I would speak, it was garbled. But afterwards, I seemed better. There are risks, is my main point. Now, I think I covered most of them. The other one that I will talk about, that I didn't bring because it's too big, ozone therapy. How many of you have heard of this? That's probably on my podcast? All right. This is something used widely in Russia and Cuba and parts of Africa. They treat AIDS and cancer and stuff like that with it. But there's something called hormetic change. When you challenge a system in your body, you get stronger. If you challenge the antioxidant system in your body with intravenous ozone, you can put ozone in through the tympanic membrane in your ear, or you can, if you're a woman, you have an advantage. Intravaginal ozone is one of the best ways to introduce it, and if you're a guy, it's even less pleasant. However, if you do this every now and then, not only does it really pump up your oxygen levels, it actually tests your antioxidant systems in the body. It makes your SOD levels and your glutathione levels much, much higher by pounding on them. Your cells are designed to break down ozone. They actually create ozone and hydrogen peroxide as part of your immune response to destroy invading things. But most pathogens don't have the ability, especially pathogenic organisms, don't have the ability to fight that stuff. So it can cure things like Lyme disease. And it's definitely out there. It can cost you a couple $1,000s to get it done, or you can buy the components from China for $400 and treat it yourself, but then you'd be breaking the law, and I would never do such a thing. I think I covered a big group of biohacking technologies. That's not all. We didn't talk about MCT oil, but you guys already know that. We didn't talk about aniracetam and things like that, but you guys probably know about that. I'm going to announce a couple things that are on the site. For the breathing thing, it's upgradedself.com/breathing. There's 2 other products that I've been using that aren't out right now. One is upgraded collagen. I've had a source of collagen before that was highly hard to get, highly spotty. and we're running out all the time. So now we have another source that is enzymatically processed to be smaller with di and tripeptides that is stable. We're manufacturing ourselves. It's Bulletproof branded. It's the best stuff that I can find, and it's actually easier to put into soup. That's coming up. This is only available right now to people in this room. If you want to do it on the show special, you'll see it on the site in a couple weeks. We may sell out, so if you want to try it, take your discount. It's it's upgradedself.com/collagen. And, say what? /upgraded collagen. And the other one is we have upgraded brain, which is at upgradedself.com/brain. So if you use your conference discount code, you can save 10%. You'll be the first in line to get these. Brain is simply the pharmaceutical grade source of aniracetam. The reason that aniracetam is the one that I chose for this is that in the Rolling Stone article, this worked really, really well for the guy, the reporter, as well as the fact that it's the one that increases memory I/O the most. So this is something that I found is beneficial for me, and as an acetylcholine dominant person who gets too much of that neurotransmitter, aniracetam is one of the things that acts very, very quickly because it's fat soluble to bring that down. It may not be right for you, but for a lot of people, they love the creativity, the anti-anxiety effects, and the basically the memory I/O. And for me, the memory I/O, how can I remember more stuff and call it up more quickly? This helps me as a public speaker, and it helps me, and it's something I take every morning with my Bulletproof coffee. So if you'd like to try that out, it's available, and it's also on sale /brain, upgradedself.com/brain. That's it, I'm over, I'm sorry.